welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to get on here and share with you my favorite drugstore brushes. And I think brushes are so important because you can have the top of the line best makeup on the market, but if you are using the wrong brushes or junky brushes or sponges to apply the makeup, you're not going to get the results that you want. You just won't. So these are all brushes that I use every day. I probably use more drugstore than I do higher end. Higher end, I'm meaning like Sigma brushes or, well, I'll just say Sigma for now because I just blanked out on the other brand that I use. It's the brand that's sold at Ulta. I'll think of it. It'll come to me. So I'm going to just jump in here. I'm going to go by category of brands. All of these are sold at drugstores, Target, Walmart. And then one brand that I absolutely love is its own brand that you can buy online, and they're super affordable. So let's just start. What do I want to start with? I'm going to start with BH Cosmetics brushes. BH Cosmetics is a brand. They sell some of their eyeshadow palettes at Ulta, but I've never seen their brushes sold there. I've only been able to purchase their brushes on their website. And like, let me just tell you, this whole set that I have, this is their rose gold set, I believe is what it's called. And it's on their website now. And I believe I got all of these brushes for $11. And they are very, very, very good brushes. I think that they're normally like $16.99 for all of these, and they're not junky. And so so this one I would highly recommend if you're just wanting kind of an all over face set of brushes. Then this rose gold I would get, and well, they're always having sales, like 30% off. Their shipping's like $5 maybe. So it's good shipping, but I want to go through the brushes that you get. But I feel like this would be really, really good if you're wanting to just get some of the basics. So I'll just tell you this right here. This is just a number 2. And this one I used for, I think it's a powder. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is their powder brush, but it's really kind of dense. So I use it for my blush. Okay, so you get a blush brush. This is the number 1, and this one is probably meant to be blush. It's an angled. So you can also use this for blush. So you get 2, but you can do this for powder, but I will use a dense brush like this for a finishing powder if I'm just doing something with a little bit of a glow over my whole face. But for me, I like using this for blush. And then we have a number 3 brush, and this brush could also be blush. I like to use this for highlighter, and I know it looks kind of large, but I love to apply my highlight with this. But it could also be, I mean, you could do powder. You really can do whatever works for you and where you get the results that you like. I get my results best by how I have told you how I use them. And then this is the number 4 brush, and this is perfect for contouring. This is just like the best contour brush. So for contouring brushes, which I will be doing my next video, I'm gonna do my foundation, how I do my foundation, highlight, and all that kind of stuff, so I can show you. But this is perfect for doing a contour. Perfect. And then moving into the eyes, you get 5 eye brushes. So the number 8 brush looks like this, and I actually like using this brush to do highlight under my brow. I do like a highlight. That's how I use this one. And then you get this nice little, this is a number 9. So it's a very flat brush, and I use this to either pack on, like especially if I'm doing like a shimmery shadow on my lid, or I like to use this in my corner to apply like a highlight. And then you have 3 nice, this is just a nice crease brush. This is the number 6, so obviously I would just use this to apply my shadows. And then I've got the number, what is this? The number 5, which this also could be, it's dense, it's much more dense. So I actually like using these 2 brushes, the number 7 and the number 5. I use these more for under my eye. So if I'm doing a shadow under, I will use maybe this to apply it first. And then I like to use this It's a little longer and less dense, and I like to smoke out my under eye with a brush like this, but this is also great. I also use it for getting really into my crease to deposit. So anyway, this right here, BH Cosmetics, 100%. The rose gold, and you'll see they have tons of sets, but this is such good quality. You're going to be amazed. And like I said, I think you can probably get it for like, I mean, 10, 11, 12 bucks. Get it. Just get it, okay? 3 other brushes that I love from BH Cosmetics, which I bought these in a set, but this one right here, and I don't even think this has anything on it. It's black, and then it has the gold. This right here is the dupe for the Sigma E40, I believe, and this is what I use to this is like my very neutral colors that I put in my crease, and I also use this to blend all my shadows together. But this brush I love, and I think maybe it was like, it's really inexpensive. And then I have this one from BH Cosmetics, and these brushes I absolutely love for applying my cream primer all over my eyes before I start with my eyeshadow. These are the kind of brushes that I use to apply that. And then I have this little pencil brush, and this is what I use to do my highlight right here. I use these brushes most of the time, and I use this one a whole lot. So I will do like a highlight here, and then sometimes I'll take this same brush and I'll just highlight under my brow. Moving on, because I don't want this to be too long, and it's getting there. Wet n Wild. You guys, Wet n Wild has brushes for like $1, and they are so good. I mean, they're not like, oh my gosh, amazing, but for $1, come on. So they have, these are the only brushes that I've really seen lately, but this one right here, and I think this was maybe $2, perfect. It says powder, but once again, it's that dense brush, so I use this as a blush brush. Wet n Wild, like $2 or $3. I think this was 99 cents. They have a wonderful, and it's really good. I use this little for shadow. And then I use these 2 brushes, which these may actually, they look a little different, but they don't have numbers or anything like that on them. But these brushes are perfect for spraying your brush with Fix Plus by MAC. And then I use these to pack on shimmers, glitter, whatever. These are perfect, and they're 99 cents. And then a nice shadow brush. And I use these usually for applying, like on my lid today, when I really want a dark color all over, I like to use these flatter, dense brushes. So this is what I use this for. That's Wet n Wild, love it. Next up, e.l.f. Such good brushes. So they have, and these are once again, I think like $4 or $5. I love this brush. This doesn't even have a name, but I use this. It's big. You could do powder. I tend to use this more for blush. Yeah. And then they have another angled blush brush that I have. I'm not as big as using, I don't know. I don't like to use angled brushes as much, but this is like, I mean, it's really good, and it's super inexpensive. And this I love, this stippling brush. This is the small one. They also have a larger one. This right here I use for my contour. You can use it if you wanted to apply bronzer, but I like to just come in here and carve out my cheekbone right here. And this was like $3. I mean, you can't beat these prices. And then once again, they have they just have great dense flat brushes, and these once again I use to pack on color, glitter, or to really concentrate my color on my lid. They have, I love this one right here. I use daily, and this is great for, I like these kind of brushes for my under eye to smoke out any shadow I do under my eye. These are what I use these for. And then this bad boy right here I love, and like I said, these do not have any kind of names or numbers, but if you go to Target or CVS, you'll see it. And this I apply after I do my eyeshadow primer, and I want to apply just like a vanilla neutral shadow all over. This right here. This is how I use this. I use this for all over. And then they have a little shader brush. I love this. And this is just applying like that. I don't want to keep I don't want to keep repeating the same thing and making it boring. Okay, another bronzer brush that I love is by MUA Professional Makeup Academy. This one I got at CVS, and it was actually kind of expensive. I think it was like 17 bucks, which that's a lot for a brush at a drugstore, but I had like a 40% off one thing, so that's how I got it. It's super long, and I apply this. So these kind of brushes can be used for liquid products. That's how they usually say to use them, like a liquid foundation, but I do not like to apply my foundation like that. I like these for bronzer because it helps it not deposit a ton of dark bronzer all in one spot. It's a much lighter application. And since I'm really fair skinned, if I do a lot, it really shows up. I don't have like, it just, there's no hiding it. So this brush right here, I love to apply my bronzer. It is just so wonderful. And like I said, this is MUA. That's the only brush I have from them because their brushes are expensive. And if I'm getting drugstore, I'm like, no, but I had a coupon, so I went with it. All right, Sonia Kashuk is sold at Target. Love her brushes. Same thing. I mean, very similar, but if I ever, and I think I got this on sale because I was just in Target recently and she's come out with all new brushes. That's why I got this for like $3 when it was normally like, wait, a lot more. But it's the same type situation. Bronzer. When I use these kind of brushes, it's all for bronzer, 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 bronzer. All right, another Sonia Kashuk. This is just like a tapered, and this one is more for powder all over. Really good. Another one from there. So this is more dense and small. So anytime a brush is really dense and small like this, I use it for contouring. That's kind of the only use for me. And then she has these three, which I think I have some duplicates. Yep, I do. This is the number 106. This is just the best little brush for applying any kind of shimmer or glitter. Anytime I see a brush like this, I snag it because I love it. You can also use it for your inner corner. So this is the 106 brush, really, really good. And then she has the 116. And I love this brush for smoking out my under eye. Love, love, love it. Because, yeah, I'm not going to try to go into a whole thing. But anyway, the 116, so these two go just, they're really good. And I have one more. This is the 110, and this one is like very flat, as you can see. And this one is one that I like to spray with my Fix Plus and then apply any kind of shimmery shadow like that. I just like to apply, you want to apply that kind of stuff with a really dense brush, and this is a really good one. Ecotools. I love Ecotools, but you know what's funny is I thought I had Ecotools eye brushes, and I don't. I have their sponge, which I've discussed before, and then I have just 3 of their face brushes. This right here is like my ride or die bronzer. I love this thing. It's blending and bronzing, and I love it. I love it. Target, and you know where else has a lot of these is Marshall's and TJ Maxx, okay? So this right here, get it. I love it. And then I have the Precision, this says Precision Blush, but once again, it's really dense. Contour. And then the last one that I love is their Ecotools Full Powder, and yes, I love to apply my powder. This one really, you could do powder, you could do blush. It's just a really great, soft, fluffy brush. I love, love, love this brush. Last category is Real Techniques. I love Real Techniques. Real Techniques is, I love it. My very favorite go-to blush brush is the Real Techniques blush brush right here. I love it. It's just like this, and this is what I always go for. I have a couple of these. You can also, this would be great for bronzer too, but I have a couple of these. I usually, if they ever go on sale, I'll snag 1 or 2. But I like these. This is my blush go-to favorite, but you could do bronzer with that. And then, of course, I have a couple stippling brushes from them. This one is a flat one, like a flat kabuki type. This one I think is meant for, it doesn't really say. This one right here, because you can see the difference, right? So this one I like to use for contouring, and this one I kind of use for if my blush and bronzer gets kind of like, if I go way crazy with it and it looks horrible and it's like just like too intense, I like to take this brush. And so yeah, this one I don't really use for bronzing. This one I go in and I kind of blend out. So if you can see like a line from my blush, or if I get it like really bright here, this I kind of use to like, so it's nice to have one of these that you just kind of use for like cleaning up the damage that you do, right? When you have a heavy hand. So this is a really good one. Right here, the powder brush. I love this powder brush. I love it so much. And this one I use obviously for powder, not so much for setting, because if I do foundation and then I want to set my foundation, I like a more dense brush. So I actually don't have a drugstore brush I use for that. So this is usually bronzer or a finishing powder. Okay, because I just like it a little more dense for setting. So this one is wonderful. I'm going. Okay, right here. This is the contour brush. So this one is made for contouring. I actually don't usually use this for contouring because I already have a lot, obviously. So I like to use this sometimes for setting my under eyes with powder, like loose powder or pressed powder. After I've done my concealer, I'll kind of dip this in powder and then I kind of do like that. And I set that areas like that. Or even if I don't do contour, but I just put on foundation, I like to use this because it kind of fits, but they have two. This other one I love, and this is a setting brush. I actually use some of these the right way. And this one is smaller, you can see. These may be sold together. I could be wrong. But this one is like my favorite for setting because it's so small and it just fits just perfectly. But both of these, this one is a little bit larger. They're both good, but like if you were gonna get one for this purpose, then go for the smaller one. It's a really, really great one. And then once again, this is their Duo Fiber Face Brush, and this one I use for bronzer. I have a lot of bronzing brushes because I love bronzer. Bronzer is such a game changer for me because I can look like Casper and then I look like healthy again when I use bronzer. And so once again, this is a great bronzing brush. Wonderful. And that's mainly what I use it for. And these can be used for powder, you know, like a finishing powder too. But I'm just telling you how I use them and how I get the best results. And that is how I get the best results. Okay, right here, I don't have a lot of eye brushes from Real Techniques. This says it's a crease brush, but this thing is big. Look at that. So I like to use this to apply look how big that is. I couldn't use this in my crease. I would have eyeshadow up to my eyebrow. So I use this to apply after I do my primer, and I'm just doing that vanilla color shadow to kind of set the primer. This is what I use to set that. So this is that. I don't use it for a crease because, like I said, no. This one isn't nice. This one is just a base. Oh, this says base shadow brush. So this one you could use as a base shadow, and this one is just great for just a crease brush, lid brush, whatever. It has many reasons. It's just a good brush. That's all I'm going to say about that. And then I have this little brush that I got. This is a Duo Fiber eye brush. It's very, you see how it's like this. So this is more for like, I use it more for like blending. If I have like a harsh line, then I just kind of like circle this and that kind of helps it. So I don't really use this to apply shadow. For me personally, it's just, no. And then the last brush, this is their, I think it's their buffing brush. It's dense, it's really dense. And this one, I think I actually used some foundation with this, liquid foundation, or I tried using it. I didn't like how it looked because I apply all my foundation with a sponge now. I just get the best result. But this one, I kind of like to use for contouring because it's just so dense. You could kind of buff if you used cream. Like if I did a cream contour, then this would be great to use for buffing out creams. But yeah. I have just like gone through this I don't really know. My head's kind of spinning. I hope it wasn't too much, too fast, but maybe this will just kind of lead you in the right direction on some good brand. Because I know sometimes when you go to the drugstore, you're like, oh, is this going to be like a junky brand that I'm like, just a waste of money, even if it's $1. But these, I can tell you, I have used for a long time. They are good brushes. I would buy them all over again. I use them all. I love them. They're great. I'm gonna stop rambling. I hope this helps. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to know, or if you have any drugstore brushes that I didn't mention that are really good. Please let me know, because I know there's a lot of other brands I've never tried. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and if you've made it this far, once again, thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.